work for them, and until they thought I'd paid it off. Well, I'd apologize. That's the first thing I'd do. What do you think?
Well, I think that'd be a good first step.
If I did all that, they'd drop the charges, wouldn't they? I mean, the main thing is they know I'm just a kid, and I'm sorry.
Jill, that all sounds very well and good. But you've got to remember, in the eyes of the law, you're not a child. You're 18, and that makes you an adult.
I'm just 18. Mrs. Davidson, you've got to get me out of here.
Okay. Now, calm down. Now, I think that this will all work out. But I don't want you to pin your hopes on it in case it doesn't, that's all.
I've got to hope for something.
Now, that's a very interesting proposition, Norman. Suppose I were to accidentally lose the tape. Now, what would my compensation be?
Name your price.
Well, now, how do I know you can pay it?
Hey, I move in very classy circles. Money's no problem with me. $5 grand.
I assume that you understand the consequences of what you just said, which I am willing to overlook this time, because you're tired, in addition to being stupid.
Yeah, I probably just didn't offer enough money. Now, if I would have said 10 grand,
Hey,
I think it...
I said I was willing to overlook it once. Now, don't press your luck, my friend.
You know, I know some very important people. They outrank you considerably.
Everybody outranks me.
You don't believe me, do you?
Of course I believe. You're very believable.
There's a captain in this precinct, and I've met him in some pretty interesting parts of
Well,
town.
I'm sure you've met our captain, our lieutenant, and our booking officer.
You keep messing around with me, buddy. You're going to be walking a beat in the city dump.
Come on, Elliot. This is the city dumper, hadn't you noticed? You think you're the first innocent person to come through here? I can't remember the last guilty one I arrested. And you all know somebody real important.
But I got news for you. You are still going to jail.
You really got a badge-heavy ego, don't you?
No, I just got a job that's getting tougher every day.
All right, I want to talk to Commissioner Slaymaker. He's above everybody in this place.
He's not above the law.
Come on, can't we work something out? I mean, what am I to you, huh? I mean, you know, nobody suffered any harm through this whole thing, and we both know people who've done worse and gotten away with it, right? Come on!
No deals, Norm.
Man, you don't understand. Things were finally working out for me.
Fate is cruel.
Fate! Uh-huh. All right, I'm gonna level with you, Brubaker. What if I could bring you one of this town's leading citizens? Could we talk a deal then?
I don't think you listen so good. I don't make deals. I investigate and I report. Now, you want to do something that's going to look good in my report? The choice is yours.
Okay, all right. How about a phone call, all right? One phone call, in private.
That's a little irregular, okay?
Oh, you don't trust me? I'm on the level. You can stand outside the door with a SWAT team.
Okay, but I want it short, sweet, and local.
Does this look like the face of a guy that would lie to you?
Would you two stop dwelling on past business and address yourself to the issues at hand?
This is the issue at hand, Charles.
But it doesn't need to be this.
If I say there's a need, there's a need.
What we're trying to impress on you, Charles, is that your penchant for cost-effective construction is unacceptable.
And it's going to stop. Now, Hollister Mall is a solid and legitimate business enterprise. It's going to be built solidly and legitimately.
And we've taken some steps to ensure that.
Oh, yes, I've heard. You know, really, gentlemen, sending your spies over to the construction site the other day, now, isn't that a bit sophomoric?
Sophomoric. That's the perfect word to describe your attitude towards this whole project, Charles. However, we can deal with you on that level if need be.
Thank you, Dean Cardello and Professor Slaymaker.
Now, we have every confidence that it's going to stop. And let's get on to less frustrating matters. I talked to Prescott the other day. He's very optimistic about the completion date in spite of the delays. And he feels that... George, I thought we said no interruptions.
Sorry. Yes.
I know you said not to disturb you, but Norm Elliott's on line 2, and he says it's an emergency.
I'll take it. Yes.
How you doing, GS?
What do you want?
You know where I am, of course.
I heard.
Yeah, well, thanks for all the support. Don't count on my vote in the next election.
You can hardly expect me to get wrapped up in this affair.
No, that's true. You were too busy trying to save both your faces.
I'm in the middle of a meeting.
Oh, all right. Well, one more thing, George. If you're not down here in the next hour to get me out of this place, I start talking.
What did he want?
Something's come up. We're gonna have to continue this later.
Five minutes. No kidding.
Hello, Jill.
Hi.
You look tired.
I am. It's kind of hard to sleep in this place. Well, last night they brought in one of those bag ladies. Joyce. She has lice in her hair. Kept feeling like they were crawling on me.
I'm sorry.
I've been thinking about what we talked about the other day.
Oh?
About me going back to the store that I took the stuff from.
Good.
Well, I thought I could offer to work for them, and until they thought I'd paid it off. Well, I'd apologize. That's the first thing I'd do. What do you think?
Well, I think that'd be a good first step.
If I did all that, they'd drop the charges, wouldn't they? I mean, the main thing is they know I'm just a kid, and I'm sorry.
Jill, that all sounds very well and good. But you've got to remember, in the eyes of the law, you're not a child. You're 18, and that makes you an adult.
I'm just 18. Mrs. Davidson, you've got to get me out of here.
Okay. Now calm down. Now, I think that this will all work out. But I don't want you to pin your hopes on it in case it doesn't, that's all.
I've got to hope for something.
I know you do. Now listen, I've got another idea, too.
What?
Well, there's somebody special who I think maybe can help you. Somebody who helped me once.
Who?
A judge. Judge Beth Slaymaker.
Oh, great. Judges just love me. When they see me coming, they don't even bother to hear the facts. They start sentencing right away just to save time.
No, Judge Slaymaker is different, Jill. I don't know if you can understand this, but I feel in my heart the Lord wants me to talk to her about you.
Maggie, what are you doing? More, sweetheart, more. This isn't what you showed me earlier. Angel, how you doing?
Fine.
It's better, Maggie. A little bit more on the left one.
You want me to put this on myself?
Angel, around here you don't go to the can by yourself.
David, this seems a little bit ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. It's the way I do things. So it's the way you do things. No, Maggie. I said I want the eyebrows left natural. Natural. Am I the only one who reads my memos around here?
Do you want to do this yourself?
Your fairy godmother has arrived.
Where have you been? Sent Alan out looking for you over an hour ago.
Little Alan has crashed in the lobby. The result, I think, is something the divine Mr. Mark Septim.
I've had enough of that little toy blade.
Don't be too hard on him, dearie. He does have his uses.
He's a real charmer. Thinks he's an insomniac because he keeps waking up every few days. All right, let's see the schmata.
Now, I know this isn't what we talked about, but voila.
Jean, honey, this outfit is supposed to say Becky Hewitt, not gay prom night.
I'm so tired of spandex pants.
Don't you call Gary in on this?
This is Gary's.
Figures, probably out of his own closet.
I like it, David. See?
Yeah, well, Becky thinks that Barry Manilow is profound. Her opinion hardly counts here, okay?
All right. Here.
Thank you.
Maggie, did you get my Coke?
It's in my purse. Hey, you want to pay up first?
Well, Angel, it looks like you could use one of these more than me.
No, I don't think so.
Relief is just a swallow away. So you excited, babe?
Yeah.
You're gonna look great.
David, I think the dress is prettier.
Not interested in pretty. If I wanted pretty, I'd have hired George Hamilton.
It's not the real me, you know?
The real Becky Hewitt is a bore. But David Cohen's version of her isn't going to be.
What's the matter with the way that I am?
Everything. The name of the game is taking raw talent and molding it, Angel.
Russ isn't gonna like this, David.
If he doesn't, that means we succeeded.
Is that what's behind all this? They're trying to drive Russ away?
I think you girls had better leave. I've surrounded you with the best there is in this business. Don't you ever, ever assume that your petty motives are mine. Because when you do that, you insult those artists. You insult this whole industry and you insult me. Clear? Yeah. Good. Relax.
Okay, Becky, head up. Good. All right, take it to the left a little. Good. A little more. All right, back towards me. Good. Yeah. Big eyes. Good. All right, great.
Not great, it stinks. Angel, what are you doing?
I'm trying,
You
Dave.
certainly are trying, dear lady. John, we talked about this before now, didn't we?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought so. I knew that was you at the meeting. John, these are for the cover of a record album. First thing I want is this light lowered. Do it.
But,
John, I'm doing you a favor. Try and remember that, okay? Now, for our star. Becky, I'll bet when you were a little girl, your father used to take pictures of you in Halloween costumes, didn't he?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll bet one year you were a fairy princess.
I even had a magic wand.
It's sweet, sweet.
It was kind of cute.
Great, great. Let me remind you, you're not 8. John is not your father, and these pictures are not for the family album.
David, I'm giving you everything that I
No,
can.
you're not. You're giving me Becky Weaver. That's totally unacceptable. And you're in the pros now, Becky. That's the senior ball, homecoming parade, graduation day, all.
Oh, David, don't talk down to
Then
me
don't
like that.
make me. When you walk through those studio doors, you leave all the personal stuff out there. These pimply kids that are going to buy this album don't give two hoots about your half-witted half-back's ego problems. So I don't want to see him reflected in your eyes.
All right. Come on, let's go in.
Come on, come on, come on. All right, Angel. Give me catty but innocent. Seductive but childlike. Wise but adventurous. Reserved but explosive. Good, good. Defiant but tameable. Good, good, great.
Sergeant, would it be possible for me to speak with my employee in private?
Well, I really don't know.
Please. It would expedite matters.
All right, but it's going to have to be right here.
Do we have privacy?
Your employee, am I suddenly invaluable again?
Would you care to explain your rather cryptic phone call earlier?
You know, Commissioner, I've always been taken advantage of in my life. And it's guys like you that have done that to me. Guys who already have too much and want more. Well, that's going to end now. It's my turn to make you squirm.
Pretty speech, Norman. Get to the point.
That is the point, George. This latest scheme involved Charles and that toy of his. It was their trap that got me here in the first place.
Why bother me with this?
Because I'm calling the shots now, and you're going to get me out of here.
You know, Norman, you're rather new to politics, and you need to learn that the only people who get favors are those who have already given favors. I don't owe you anything.
I guess I kept a different scorecard then.
I guess you did. What's on yours?
My tampering with the safety deposit box in one of your banks by your authorization.
Like you said, you're tampering.
With your authorization. Isn't there a law against that? Why, if word of that ever got out, I bet you'd lose an awful lot of business. Why, maybe even Slaymaker Savings and Loan itself.
You'll only hurt yourself with accusations like that.
Not if I was promised immunity.
Have you been?
You tell me.
No? No, I don't think you have.
Well, then this whole meeting would be just a little irregular, wouldn't it?
Well, if you had talked, there'd be no reason for us to be sitting here discussing this at all, would there?
True. Will you help me?
But what you allege took place with the safe deposit box only took place between you and me. You don't have any witnesses. Now, who do you think the authorities are going to believe? Some young punk with a record or a county commissioner?
What about that junior executive, huh? That little honey? The one that let me into the vault and gave me the key and then stood guard? Also by your authorization? The very same. Now, you get me out of here or you're going to lose everything.
What is it you want me to do?
Well, why don't you talk to your buddy, Charles Carpenter, and have him get his playmate to fix things for me, huh? Have her tell Brubaker that it was all a joke. I don't care what you do, but you just get me out of here.
What makes you think I can pull it off?
Fear. If you don't, you go to jail.
Please don't misunderstand me. I'm really not trying to interfere with the judicial process. I'm just trying to help a scared little girl.
But, Mrs. Davidson, my experience with these runaways has been that they're anything but children. How old is she?
18.
Well, she isn't facing a major conviction here.
Oh, I realize that. But I'm afraid any conviction might push her past the point where we can reach her. She's already spent several days in jail, and her repentance is sincere. Look, if the legal system can't somehow acknowledge that and give her a chance to work through it, then I'm afraid she's going to prove to be an even greater problem in the future. Oh, I'm sorry. Here I am. I don't mean to be telling you your job.
No, please. I appreciate your concern. You sat here once before and pleaded on behalf of someone, remember?
Yeah, and I shook for a half hour afterwards.
How are things working out with your sister?
Not as well as I'd expected, but I'm still praying.
From the way you say that, I expect you'll get results.
I will.
Well, Mrs. Davidson, it just so happens that we have initiated a new program for juvenile offenders. Now, since she's 18, Miss Hanson does not strictly qualify, but I'm going to look the other way on this one. What we'll do is to bring her in for an informal interview. Now, sometimes these private visits will turn an offender around and sometimes not.
Oh, well, I have every confidence that this one will meet with success.
Good. I will make the arrangements as soon as possible.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. But, Mrs. Davidson, I somehow feel that you missed your calling. The way you come in here and present your case, you should have been a lawyer.
Oh, no.
Sorry I'm late.
You might have called. It was very inconsiderate of you to let us go like this.
Charles, do you have any idea what kind of trouble you've gotten me into? Because of some asinine personal vendetta of yours, I'm at the mercy of a lunatic. Norm Elliott has decided to tell the authorities that I tampered with a safe deposit box in my bank.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. He hasn't got any way of proving it.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. Listen, the woman that helped him, Brooke, she is what you would call a witness, Charles.
I don't see how I'm involved in this.
Well, you're the one that got Nancy Lawson involved in the thing in the first place, and I hope you've had a good time with her because where she's going to be gone for a long, long time.
For heaven's sake, George, don't be so overly dramatic. Pull a few strings, get Elliot out of jail.
Some solution. Listen, if that punk could do it, he'd blackmail his way into the city council. Absolutely not. If I pull strings for him, he'll be pulling my strings for the rest of my life. Charles, I swear you will never be too old to figure out new ways of being stupid. If
Stop it. It's enough. You're ignoring the most obvious way out of this.
What?
Brooke.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Vince, but that's where Elliot has me. Brooke and I are...
Oh, we're lovers. Let me guess. You refuse to get a divorce, so the spurned woman gets a chance to even the score. Now, be careful who I call stupid, George. Look, it's obvious that Charles can't do anything to get Nancy to change her story. Matter of fact, I'm beginning to wonder if Charles is capable of doing anything these days. In any case, you talk to Brooke. Promise her anything. Because without her, Elliot's story is just another one of his lies.